Hello and welcome to Maths by SAS. This is my 10th lesson of D2 chapter number 5 exercise 5a, that is about solving quadratic equation by factorization. What is quadratic equation and what are the methods of the factorization of quadratic equation? These are the questions that have to be really clear to all of my students for the better understanding of this lesson. All those students who are not clear about quadratic equation and the methods of factorization of quadratic equation, I'll be giving the link of the lesson in the description box so that you can understand the method of factorization, especially of quadratic equation, so that the lesson becomes easy for you. Let's move to C part of the question and let me compare the question with the book. Question says that solve each of the following equations, and C part is n minus 2 into n plus 4 equals to 27. Recall my previous lessons. I hope you know that first of all we have to frame the quadratic equation, and here we are given with two brackets. We have to expand them, we have to multiply and make the equation. When n will be multiplied by this n, this will become n square plus 4n, n square plus 4n minus 2n minus 8. 2 times 4 is 8, that I'm taking this n and I'm multiplying it with the whole of the second bracket. Then I'm taking 2 and I'm multiplying it with complete of the second bracket, and equals to 27. And now what I have to do is I have to first solve this. N square plus 2n minus 8 and equals to 27. Now shift this 27 to other side to form a standard quadratic equation. Okay, and then n square plus 2n minus 8 minus 27 equals to 0. 27 plus 3 30 and 5 is 35. N square plus 2n minus 35 equals to 0. Now we are having the standard quadratic equation, and now recall the method of factorization of quadratic equation. That is because this 35 is not a perfect square and middle term as well is not the product of these two terms, so we have to go for the factorization, the midterm breakage method. Multiply 35 with the coefficient of the term having part 2, and that is 1, so I will be getting 35. Then I have to make the prime factors of 35. 5 how many times? 5 sevens are, and 7 ones are. Factors that I am getting are 7 5 and 1, or 5 7 and 1. Now I have to set the factors in such a way, students, that when I'm adding or subtracting, I'm getting middle term which is 2, and when I'm multiplying, I'm getting the product term which is minus 35. Now think about this, that how we can from 7 5 and 1 we have to make just two numbers. So if I'm joining 7 and taking 7 alone and 5 and 1 at the same place, 5 multiplied by 1, 7 and 5, 7 minus 5 can give me 2, and 7 multiplied by minus 5 can give me minus 35. So the suitable choice is 7 and 5. So let's move to the breakage of the middle term. N square plus 7n minus 5n and minus 35 equals to 0. Now you can see that this middle term has been divided. Middle term has been divided in these two terms. Okay, that's why this method is called the midterm breakage method. Make the groups, okay, of like terms. Okay, and from each group, see, okay, look students, what is common here? N into n plus 7, and then from the second pair I can see minus 5 into n plus 7 equals to 0. Now again see carefully that n plus 7 is the common group. Extract it out. Always use the language and the terms that you have learned in your lesson so that learning becomes perfect. N plus 7 into n minus 5 equals to 0. Now quickly recall that what is the next step. Yes, we have to apply either our condition, either n plus 7 equals to 0 or n minus 5 equals to 0. In order to get value of n, shift 7 to other side and 5 to other side, and do not forget to change the sign. And when I will be shifting the 7 to other side, rule of integer, this will become minus 7 or n equals to 5. So the answer is n equals to 5 or minus 7. These are the roots or solution of this equation. Moving to next part. The next part is p minus 1 into p minus 6 equals to 126. Okay, this time again, if you look at the left hand side of the question, that is not in the simplified form. Here first we have to simplify these two brackets. Here I'm going to play the magic, and I'm telling you, when the coefficient of the variable term is 1, what you can do is that whatever is the, okay students, look carefully, whatever is the variable, write down the power of that variable 2, and then add up these two numbers with their sign. 6 plus 1 is 7 minus 7p, and then multiply them, plus 6 equals to 126. Okay, this is sum, and this is product. Here I'm writing the sum of these two numbers, and then product. And those students who will be finding it difficult, I'm performing and I'm testing my answer as well, that when p is multiplied by this p minus 6, we will have p square minus 6p, then 1 will be multiplied with this whole bracket, and then I will have minus p plus 6. Look, this is p square minus 7p plus 6. Okay, so I hope my students are now clear in both ways. Now what I have to do is that I have to shift, remember that we have to shift this constant to other side, and the equation will take the form p square minus 7p plus 6, and do not forget to change the sign of 126, this is important concept, is equal to 0. Now 6 and 126 are the like terms, solve them. Okay, and it will take the form p square minus 7p minus 120 equals to 0. Okay students, see, at this stage we are getting the standard quadratic equation, and now we have to decide the method of the factorization of this equation. 120 is not a perfect square, so we cannot apply the identity here, so I have to go with hit and trial method. And what is the hit and trial method? Yes students, that what we have to do is we have to multiply this constant with the coefficient of term having power 2, and that will give me 120. And then what we have to do, recall quickly, make the prime factors, 2 60 times, and then 2 30 times, 2 15 times. Okay, now I cannot divide it by 2. Recall the tests of divisibility as well from D1. 3 5s are and 5 1s are, and the numbers and the factors that I'm getting are 2 2 2 3 5 and 1. Now recall that what we have to do with this long list of the factors, we have to just make two numbers. We have to make two numbers out of these all factors in such a way that when I'm adding or subtracting, I'm getting the middle term, which is minus 7, and when I'm multiplying, I'm getting the product term, which is minus 120. Okay, now think, if I'm taking 5 and 3 at the same place, this will become 15 and 8. 15 minus 8 is 7, and 15 multiplied by 8, I'm sure this is 120. 120, okay, But what sign are we supposed to attach with 15? As the middle term is negative, so the sign of the bigger term will be negative. This is the most important step to understand. So the middle term can split in this way: minus 15p plus 8p minus 120 equals to 0. You can see that we are breaking the middle term in two parts. Okay, 15 minus 15 and 8 is the other way of writing minus 7. That's why this method is called midterm breakage or hit and trial. Okay, then make the groups. Okay, from each group, see what is common: p square minus 15p. Okay, so p will be the common factor here, and p minus 15, and then plus 8. I'm pulling out 8. Okay, and then from 8p I will left with p, and minus sign will be coming as it is. 8 how many times will be 120? That is 15 equals to 0. And now we can see that p minus 15 is the common group. P minus 15 is the common group. Extract it out, pull it out. So when I'm pulling out P minus 15 and P plus 8 equals to 0, then I have to apply either P minus 15 equals to 0 or P plus 8 equals to 0. Shift this constant to other side. Shift constant to other side. Okay, let me draw the line here, because that was the trial area. Okay, so that my students should not mix the root with that. Then equation will take the form P equals to 15 or P equals to minus 8. So the solution or the root for this question are P equals to minus 8 or 15. I hope you are clear about this question, and let's move to the next question. And E part says 2q minus 3 into q minus 4 equals to 18. Okay, students, recall that what has to be the first step? Yes, first step has to be the expansion of these two brackets, multiplication and simplification, and forming the quadratic equation. Okay, so let's quickly move to the product. That 2q will be multiplied by q minus 4. 2q into q minus 4 minus 3 into q minus 4 equals to 18. Okay, then now what we have to do is we have to apply distributive property, that we have to multiply the constant and the numbers outside the bracket with every term inside the bracket. 2, when q will be multiplied by q, it will become 2q square minus 8 and q. Okay, then minus 3q plus 12. Okay, 3 4 is 12 equals to 18, and equation will take the form 2q square minus 8 and 3 is 11q plus 12 and minus 18 equals to 0. Shift 18 to other side. Rule of integer has to be clear from D1. Each new concept is integrated with the previous concept. 2q square minus 11q minus 6 equals to 0. Okay, now at this stage we have the standard quadratic equation with us. Now recall, 6 is not a perfect square, 2 is not a perfect square, so we cannot apply identity here. We have to go for the midterm breakage. So what is the procedure? That we have to multiply this constant with the coefficient of the term having part 2, and that will become 6 multiplied by 2. Now thinking area and thinking process starts. 12, product is 12 with minus sign. Okay, and now make the prime factors. 2 3s are 2 6s are and 2 3s are. Okay, the factors that I'm getting are 2, 2, 3 and 1. Now I have to set the factors in such a way that when I'm adding, finding the sum, I'm getting minus 11, and when I'm getting the product, I'm getting minus 12. Okay, now if I'm taking 4 and 3, 4 and 3 will not give me 11 at all. And then if I'm taking 12, if I'm taking 12 and 1, 12 and 1, 12 multiplied by 1 can give me 12. Okay, and 12 minus 1 is 11. So 12 and 1 is the suitable choice. And now look, what is the sign of middle term? This is really important. What is the sign of middle term? That is negative. So the bigger factor will have the negative sign and the smaller will have the positive. So my middle term will be divided in two parts. Okay, and the question will take the form 2q square and minus 12q plus q minus 6 equals to 0. Okay, now look, here I'm splitting my middle term into parts. That's why this is called the midterm breakage. Okay, now make the groups of like terms. Make the groups of like terms, and from each group extract some number or letter as a common factor. From first group 2q square, 2 and 12, table of 2 is suitable for both. So from the numbers I'm taking 2 common, and from the letters I'm taking q as a common factor, and I will left with q minus 6. And now if you look at q and minus 6, we cannot find anything common here, but recall that 1 is the factor of every number. So 1 is the common factor here. 1 into q minus 6 equals to 0. Again, you should have the strong observational skill. Q minus 6. Q minus 6 is the common factor. Q minus 6 is the common factor. Extract the common factor out. Q minus 6. Please learn and apply the language of the topic during the practice time so that the concept become easy for you. Either q minus 6 will be equal to 0 or 2q plus 1 equals to 0. Now in order to get the value of the variable, what we have to do is we have to shift the constant to other side. Okay, basic rules for the solution of simple linear equations have to be clear to all of you. Q equals to 6 or 2q equals to 1 with minus sign. Okay, is this the answer? No. We need the value of the variable with the coefficient 1. So I have to shift this 2 to other side. So this will be minus 1 by 2. So solution for this question, or the roots of the equation, are minus 1 by 2 or 6. I hope students you are really clear about today's class. For next difficulty level, please first you have to watch and understand and practice this lesson. Please watch my lesson, like, share and subscribe the channel, and press bell icon to get the notification of every lesson in time. Thank you very much.